Price index report was released today, and it is exactly in line with expectations. Inflation in the U.S. is now at 6.5% higher in December compared to a year ago.
December CPI, Consumer Price Index, came in at 6.5. This article is from Yahoo Finance. More in the description below. Inflation rose at a slower rate again the final month of 2022, a welcome downtrend in consumer prices after the Federal Reserve raised interest rates to the highest level in 15 years. The Consumer Price Index, the CPI, for December showed 6.5% rise in prices over the last year and a 0.1% decrease over the prior month. Government data showed Thursday on par with consensus estimates complied by Bloomberg. On the core basis, which is not calculated in the numbers they show us, which strips out volatile food and energy components of the report. Guys, that's why I'm reading between the lines, so together we can better prepare, live as comfortable as possible, and for those who want more, can take advantage of the coming opportunities, because this is how luck is defined. Preparedness plus opportunity plus applied action equals luck. I had to add applied action because from my personal experience, even with all my past failures, one thing I have that trumps a lot of people in life is that I don't have to be 100% perfect to act on opportunity. Sorry for the rant, guys. Someone probably had to hear this. Let's continue. So prices climbed 5.7% year over year and 0.3% over the prior month of November. The core CPI reading were also in line with forecast. Policymakers monitor core inflation closely due to its nuanced look at key inputs like housing, while the headline CPI figures has moved largely in tandem with volatile energy prices over the last year, even as price pressures eased from the 9.1% peak of the current inflation cycle. Last month's reading marked the second hottest December CPI since 1981, topped only by the 7.1% in December of 2021. Last month, officials raised interest rates by 50 basis points, bringing total increase to its benchmark policy rate to 4.25% in 2022. The Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC, are set to convene January 31st to February 1st of 2023. More on that later, guys. Let's see live right now what's going on with the CPI out here. Editors, roll clip, fair use.
Time for the December CPI number. We all need to take a deep breath. Rick Santelli has it. Rick, what is it?
Yes, our December read on PPI. Expecting a headline number to be down 0.1%. It delivered. It's down 0.1%. High water mark, June of this year at 1.3. That was the highest since 2005. Strip out the all-important food and energy, it's up 0.3, exactly as expected. And that up 0.3, how does it compare? High water mark in this series was April of 2021. It was up 0.9. That was the highest level since 1981. Let's go to the year-over-year consumer price index. Expected up 6.5, exactly up 6.5. High water mark June of this year, 9.1. This is now the sixth consecutive lower month, and the high water mark goes back to 1981. Finally, in my opinion, the most important metric, CPI year-over-year, ex food and energy, known as the core. Expected up 5.7. All four of them exactly as expected, up 5.7. And high water mark September of this year at 6.6. This marks the third consecutive month that this metric is lower. And as you look at what's going on here, interest rates, well, they moved a bit lower. Now they're kind of hovering a bit. But the fact of the matter is that for whatever reason, the equity markets are going lower. Interest rates have moved off of their best levels. And I think that the reason is that we're still looking at numbers that are a bit sticky. And I think expectations is something we, the insiders, pay a lot of attention to. But in the final analysis, I think the issue is that many would have liked to have seen it maybe a smidge lower. Let this thing simmer. I think, in my opinion, is you get a lot of cross currents based on what positions investors had going in, what they're trying to put on now. But ultimately, I'm not sure if stocks are going to be that much lower as the Dow futures indicate. And do remember, stocks were trading at the new highs of the week before this number, and interest rates were trading at new lows for the week before this number. I think that about covers it, Joe. Back to you and the panel.
President Biden talking about the economy, especially these new numbers we got today, what's known as the CPI numbers, the inflation rate falling again in December. to 6.5% on an annual basis. That's according to the Consumer Price Index, is what it's known as. So that's down from 7.1% in November and down from a 9.1% peak back in June of last year. Let's talk about this even further. Joining us now with Potomac Core Association Consulting, Dan Veroni, friend of the program. Dan, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on to talk about these numbers. The last time you and I spoke about the inflation numbers, I think was back in November. I had asked you, are we going to keep seeing some of these decreases in the annualized inflation rate? You were somewhat skeptical. You think it's too early to tell, but this is significant today, is it not?
Sure. Look, let's take news, good news wherever we can get it, Andrew. Yeah. But here's what I want to look at. So you and I have had a number of conversations since last fall around the Federal Reserve and raising interest rates. So they're going to be meeting later this month and early February. And here's what they're going to be looking at. They will be looking at this report that came out today. And it says that core inflation, meaning when you take out food and energy, is at 5.7%. Their inflation target is 2%. So this 5.7% is almost 3 times the inflation target. So what that means is we're likely to see more increases in the Federal Reserve rate. And what that means is higher costs for loans, higher credit card costs, higher mortgages, so on and so forth. But what I really want to emphasize is that inflation is still here. It's still 6.5% higher than it was 12 months ago.
Posted a video that is hilarious, a hilarious meltdown. So let's go ahead and check that out here.
Let me tell you something. When I be complaining about food prices and y'all motherfuckers be like, ain't you rich? Why you complaining about lettuce? Why you complaining about this? That just goes to show me when you become successful, when you have money, you're gonna go broke soon because y'all not budgeting. I get a summary of the money that's being spent in my home every week. So when I'm starting to see, they're like,
by the way, huge advocate for budgeting here, so I'm not criticizing her for that, but yeah, let's continue.
Groceries is like tripling up. It's like, hey, yo, what the fuck is going on? I want to see for myself.
What is going on, everyone? Why is everything getting so expensive? I have no clue. Can someone please fill Cardi B in with what's going on here? It's like, come on.
So what the fuck shit is being spent on? And like when I go to the fucking supermarket, like I went to the supermarket, I'm seeing that everything tripled up. That like lettuce was like $2 a couple of months ago, and now it's like $7. Of course I'm gonna say something. Because if I think that shit is crazy, I could only imagine what middle class people or people in the hood is motherfucking thinking. So yes, I'm going to say something. And I have a big platform, so I do want anybody that's responsible of these prices to put that shit the fuck down. They're gonna see my shit, they might put it down. So shut the fuck up.
Oh man, our celebrities are just they're not smart, okay? Let's just put it that way. And that's the thing that continues to baffle me about just a lot of people in our country, to be honest. That a lot of people in our country just continue to vote for all of the terrible things that continue to happen to them and the things that make their life more difficult. People just don't seem to understand or grasp the fact that the more the government gets involved in your life and this country and every little aspect of your life, the more difficult your life is going to become. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but that's what happens when we sacrifice freedom for security when it's not really security, but that's just the way that things go.
Come on now, dog. Emotional, damn it. That's enough internet for me today.
Hey guys, it's Jose, your regular Joe Blow again, keeping an eye out and my ears open to everything given to us to keep us in position to their narrative. But we are on another level. These numbers are still high. We know that. We know we can't change them, and we can't even participate in voting to change them. We are powerless to these policies. Now, the good thing is that we control the controllables. Us, our finances, plus thinking logically moving forward and not emotional, guys. So keep an eye out for the FOMC meetings at the end of the month. Guys, stay blessed. Do your own research. More in the sources in the description below. Thank you and much appreciated. Thank you for letting me do my best to bring you the best. Guys, stay free.
It ain't